My career hasn't even started yet, and I almost destroyed it. What's up, everyone? My name is AJ McMullen, and welcome back to my channel. For those of you meeting me for the first time, I am a sci-fi fantasy author of the Ascension universe, and I am a co-host on the Dirty Trunk podcast. Now, if you watch my previous videos or know me from the Dirty Trunk, then you would know that I've been writing for the past 10 years of my life. And as of recently, in the year 2020, I decided that I was going to do it and actually be serious about my writing. Over the last 10 years, it has been a hobby that has never died. I've always been fascinated with this world that I've created, and over the last 10 years I've created a backlog of about 198 characters at this current point, and stories that could fit in about in a little over 100 books. So last year, after writing my first book for the sixth time and finally coming to a point where I say this is the one that I'm going to edit and put out there no matter what happens. I'm getting tired of rewriting this story. I want to move on to the next one. It ended up being about 110,000 words, and I don't have an established brand yet, so I wanted to be able to put something out there for free. I wanted to be able to put my first book out for free, and eventually I'm going to do that, but right now I'm just like kind of starting off, and until I get my backlog up, then that would have been the goal. So I ended up writing a prequel series to that particular story because the universe is completely different from our own. Like I said, it's a sci-fi fantasy, so I am world building on a completely different scale, kind of like if you would think Terry Brooks' Shannara Chronicles meets Star Wars, where the world has ended and society has to rebuild, knowing that there are powers out there that man shouldn't have. So my prequel series, called the World's End series, hence these books right here, I decided that I wanted to do a prequel series just to kind of add more content and add more value to my reader. Now, I want you to follow me. I want you to follow me now. In this process, I decided that I was just going to write these books really quick because, like I told you, I've been writing for 10 years. So the story is already in my head. But I wanted to write them quick and get them knocked out, because what I'm most excited about is that series that starts from series 1, that book that I told you that I've been writing for the last 10 years. So in a madman type fashion, I decided that I was just going to keep writing. While most people say that they can barely put 1,000 words down on a page per day, I was just like, you know what? Fuck that. I'm going to write 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. I think my best day was somewhere around 8. I tried to do 10, but I fell asleep on my keyboard and almost deleted my shit. I decided that I was going to release these books in quick succession within months at a time. Book 2, The Guardian of the Pacific, as released on September 4th. My original plan was to release book 3 in December. Because of what happened to me during the first book and book 2, I decided that I wanted to let a little bit of time sit, while I worked on perfecting book 3, as well as going back to book 1 and book 2 to do some general editing. Okay, here's what happened. I decided that I was going to be everything, and I was going to do everything on my own. I was going to make everything happen in my own hands and put it all together myself and be a true self-published author. I don't think that was necessarily the best call. I ended up getting big-headed. Book 1 sold like hotcakes. Went to a few conventions and sold out. Went to another convention and made everybody mad because they fell in love with the blurb and all of those things, and they couldn't buy the book. I knew at some point there would be a review about this book. So I braced myself and I prepared for it, because I'm like, all right, that's cool that everybody loves the blurb, but I don't necessarily know if they're going to like it until they actually like it. So it turns out people actually loved the book, but there was some mistakes in the book. I talked about self-editing before, and I hate it. I absolutely hate it. I read the book 9 times on 9 different occasions. Seriously, the Gem State Siege, I read through it 9 times. Like, I'm not even joking about that. And just editing stuff, just like sending the text through Grammarly, sending it through Hemingway, through the other one, I can't think of the name of it at the moment, but Pro Writing Aid, there it is. We thought we had it on point. We formatted it on our own. We edited it on our own. The only thing that we didn't do was the cover. And even after the cover was given to us, we did a few tweaks to make it ourselves. We made our own barcodes, all those things like that. We did everything on our own. Then there came the call outs. A guy that I work with who, very good friend of mine, I'm no shade to him. He told me that the book was hard to get into because of some mistakes that he found. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, every book has mistakes. I personally read big publishing house books and best-selling books with errors in it. I was told that Twilight had plenty. But I just kind of pushed it off as, it is what it is, man. Like, you like the story, right? And he loved the story, but he said that he really couldn't get into it. And he was a little worried that the grammatical errors would, kind of turn people off. I can't necessarily say that I can ignore that, right? Mind you, all of this was happening as I'm in the process of publishing book 2. Man, oh man. We have a convention coming up. 3, I believe we have coming up. And book 2 came, and I ordered 50 copies of book 2. And book 1 again with the same errors in it, and that's all I have to sell. Like, of course I can go back in and edit and do all of those things to the grammar of the book, but at this point I have 100 books that are wrong. Not to mention, when book 2 came back, when the cover for book 2 came back, I didn't necessarily like what my cover designer did to it. So I did a few tweaks on my own. You see the trend here? Just to show you guys the cover of book 2, I wanted you to see the very obvious error here. We got book 2 back, and I noticed that, and I'm like, wow, this is insane. So why am I telling you guys all of this? Because at some point, my focus was on quantity. And this is what happened when quantity became the overall goal. Now, this is a failure that I have to live with, and it's also a failure that I can grow through. And most certainly I'm going to grow through it. I'm going to fix these books up and make a second edition and send them right back out into the world and act like nothing has ever happened. But this video, I'm telling you guys this because I want you guys to focus on nothing but quality and do not focus on quantity. My content list right now is pretty stacked, and I'm just eager to just go through all of it and share the story with the world. Now, it wouldn't necessarily come across that way if I'm just putting books out there that are full of errors, full of mistakes, and they're low quality. And I don't want to have that brand where people think that I'm just a low budget author just trying to scam people and make money off of them. That's not what my goal is. So with that being said, I'm going to go back over these books, and I am going to do them correctly. However, there's some challenges that come into play. I'm not a best-selling author yet. I haven't sold a lot of books. I only work a regular 9-to-5. I'm a supervisor in a warehouse. I don't make that much money. I can't necessarily drop a few $1,000s into editing, so that is why the grammatical errors are in there. I would do my best to make sure that I fix them as time go on, but I just can't afford to pay a professional editor right now. Was just not in my wheelhouse. Now, I want you guys to be careful when you get the mentality of wanting to do everything on your own. If you're the author and you want to be a best-selling author, then there's no need to focus on being a professional at making book covers. There's no need to be a professional at grammar. Yes, you want to learn how to not make the grammatical errors, because I'm pretty sure that will make the job easier on the editor. You don't have to be an expert at making book covers. You don't have to be an expert at formatting the book. It's just not necessarily your lane. Now, if you have those skills, then that is okay. Like, it's better if you have those skills, but it also makes the brand look better if you can make sure that those things are, when they're done right. And what better way to make sure it's done right than to ask someone who has more skills at it than yourself. So that is my big mistake that I made early on in my career. Luckily, it is early on in my career, and I do plan on learning from it. I apologize to everyone who read the book and they were off-put by the mistakes that were made, the very obvious mistakes that were made. I've seen some of them, and I just don't understand how they slip past us. But I guess it's because we know the story and we are intimate with it in ways that nobody else is. But I want to make sure that you guys are intimate with the story and know it, and you can live it when you're reading it and not pulled out of the zone. I want to know you guys' big mistakes when it comes to your writing careers. And when you had this challenge, what happened? How did you overcome it? And what did you do to proceed past it? You can tweet me on Twitter at StandUpMac and reach me on Reddit. I am now on Reddit at AJ McMullen, of course. Let's connect and share our stories. I want to be able to hear it and meet like-minded people who have gone through the same struggles that I have and have the same goals. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. There will be videos coming every single week. If you're interested in reading two amazing stories, The Gem State Siege and Guardian of the Pacific will be available on my website, ajmcmullen.com, as well as Amazon on ebook and paperback. Ladies and gents, my name is AJ McMullen, sci-fi fantasy author. I hope you enjoyed this video. May your journey to success be a positive and amazing one.